This week on Headlock'd, TNA somehow gets more depressing, WWE takes a road trip to Slam City, and tons of other news to put the entertainment into SportZ entertainment. Let's lock up. The recent independent film Pro Wrestlers vs. Zombies, which in pure wrestling fashion jumped on the zombie trend 5 years after they should have, just had their DVD distribution rights acquired by Trauma Pictures, the brains, no pun intended, behind Surf Nazis Must Die, Toxic Avenger, and Sergeant Kabuki Man NYPD. The film stars Matt Hardy, Kurt Angle, Roddy Piper, Jim Duggan, and Shane Douglas, making this the most star-studded cast Trauma has ever acquired. And because it's a new week, we have some bad news for TNA. Again, as their UK DVD distributor filed for administration, which is more or less the British version of bankruptcy. God, even going broke sounds fancy when they say it. Before signing on with TNA, Clear Vision Limited was the WWE DVD distributor until 2012 when they lost the rights, which is probably why they signed with TNA. This news is somewhat remarkable since they were also the UK DVD distributor for UFC, Marvel Animation, and My Little Pony. Yet with all these powerhouse titles, TNA still manages to be the kiss of death. Not surprisingly, things are much better for the WWE and those associated with it, even when they step outside the protective membrane that is the universe, as John Cena is in talks to be part of the upcoming Judd Apatow-produced film, Trainwreck. The film was written by and will star Amy Schumer, the stand-up comedian and star of Comedy Central's Inside Amy Schumer. However, the IWC probably best knows her as the girl who Dolph Ziggler and talked about it on Howard Stern. Speaking of irreverent adult comedy, while we wait for the WWE's foray into the genre with the cartoon Camp WWE, it looks like we'll get to tide ourselves over with WWE's Slam City. Released to coincide with the WWE-based toy line, Mattel's in-house production company, Playhouse Productions, released 26 webisodes done in the similar style to such great kid-friendly classics as Robot Chicken and Celebrity Deathmatch. The plot is as follows. An evil character wearing Kane's old mask, not that one, or that one, yes, called the Finisher, has taken over the WWE and fired all of the WWE superstars, because when you take over a billion-dollar company, the first thing you do is get rid of everything that makes you money. Who's the Finisher? Dixie Carter? This forces the WWE superstars to get jobs like auto mechanic, crossing guard, Dolph Ziggler, and Penguin. Yes, Mark Henry is a penguin. And people say there aren't enough real jobs. So far, the first 4 episodes are up on the network, Hulu, YouTube, and more, with many more to follow shortly. Oh, and be forewarned, you may be uncomfortable with how much you actually enjoy this. And on to our final story for this week's edition of Sports Entertainment Tonight. Rumors and hushed whispers are making their way across the internet about Jeff Jarrett's new promotion. Toby Keith is linked as a financial backer, and now former TNA producer Kevin Sullivan is said to be involved as well. On top of that, despite Toby Keith's connections to CMT leading us to believe that country music television will be the Mystery Project's new home, 2 other networks have been brought up as potential long shots. Apparently TBS is still interested in bringing wrestling back to the network, and if Spike TV does not renew their contract with TNA, this would be a suitable substitution. That said, this comes hot off the heels of the WWE negotiation news, so whatever happens there will dictate what happens next, which for us is this week's
World Heavyweight Championship Douche Canoe.
Now, it should come as no surprise that this week's WHCDC is tied to Hulk Hogan. What is surprising is that it's going to someone who did something to him. This past week at Hulk Hogan's restaurant, God, I feel dirty saying that, an old wrestling boot of Hulk Hogan's that was signed was stolen by a middle-aged woman while 4 of her friends chatted up the manager. Now I get it. You're big enough fans, you want to do your best Repo Man impression, whatever, stealing's wrong. That said, apparently this boot was going to be auctioned off with the proceeds going to a charity for amputees. You know, people who don't have hands to steal nasty old shoes with. These ladies were stealing from desperate people and the amputees. And I don't care if they didn't know it was for charity, they still stole a nasty old boot with some scribble on it that probably wasn't even in their size. Fortunately, the husband of one of the women has pressured his wife to return the boot. She was not prosecuted since she was not the one who initially stole the boot. The one who did moved back to her home in Michigan. Police are now on the lookout for a large middle-aged woman walking around Michigan as the World Heavyweight Championship douche canoe. That ends this week's episode. Did you watch Slam City? Looking forward to seeing JTG as a mailman? Just kidding, he won't be in it. But tell us in the comment section below. Also be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, check out the Facebook pages of both us and JuiceMakeSugar.com, the revolutionary force in smart mark entertainment. This week is Hulk Hogan week, so something brother, Hulkamania, something dude vitamins. Also, if you're in New York City, come down April 6th to Boss Tweed Saloon for the WrestleMania Weekend Slobber Knocker. We'll be there. All the information's on Facebook. We'll have trivia, prizes, wrestling, and more. Until then, thank you for watching. My name is Noah Waterman. Please, don't try this at home.
You know something, Hulkamaniacs? The darkness in the Dungeon of Doom shakes in fear just because Hulk Hogan is walking around with the power of the training, the prayers, and the vitamins. Everyone